Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, Life, Law, Fin. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I have with me Mr. Matthew St. Bernard. Hi Matthew, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you doing today?
I'm good, and I know Matthew from WSDC training. He was one of my coaches, quite articulate himself, as you will be, you know, well, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about.
No.
So today we're actually talking about the Fulbright Scholarship, and I am asking Mr. St. Bernard, which, how would you prefer me to address you, Mr. St. Bernard?
You can call me Matthew now. It's been a couple of years, so it's all good.
Okay. I think I'm still going to use Mr. St. Bernard because it's for my brain. Could you
Uh,
tell us about the scholarship? Just share some information to keep some key information with the viewers.
sure. So the Scholarship essentially is administered by the U.S. State Department, and it looks like it focuses on students who are outside of the U.S. and it funds them coming to the U.S. There is a separate project that really focuses on US students going to other countries as well. So it's just an exchange program that funds students to study for master's and doctorate degrees. Um, for Barbados, it is administered by EdUSA, Education USA, and that is through the US Embassy in Barbados.
Okay. Could you shed some light as it relates to the eligibility for this scholarship?
Okay, well, generally for the scholarship, I think the age range is 18 to 35, but I stand corrected. I'll double check that afterwards and just tell you, but I think it's 18 to 35. And they are essentially looking for nationals of the country to study in the US. So it would be Barbadian nationals. And actually, the region is Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean. And that is the region that Barbados's embassy focuses on when it comes to administering the scholarship.
Okay. What did you do towards, making a successful application? And how hard or how difficult is it to obtain one of these scholarships?
Um, how hard or how difficult? I mean, maybe moderately difficult, but I feel like Education USA is really looking for talent. And once you are passionate about your field, you have some work experience, and you give a good interview, a really good interview, along with a good personal statement, I think you'll be successful. So for me, my scholarship journey was a long one. I had applied to a lot of other scholarships along the way, but one of the most important things for me was getting full funding for the scholarship. I really don't believe that we should be putting ourselves in enormous sets of debt in order to study. I feel like there should be a path towards education, even if it's overseas, where you're not spending 40, 50, or 60,000 US dollars or going into debt for that amount in order to study. So for me, I feel like what mattered most in terms of obtaining the scholarship is the fact that I gave a pretty good interview. Well, if I do say so myself, I think my personal statement was strong, emotive, but also really grounded in facts because this is an area I'm passionate about, studying public policy. And I also feel that work experience mattered in this area as well. Uh, I think they want someone who is both responsible and eager to really pursue further studies.
Okay. As it relates to the benefits of this scholarship, do you think you can share some of those key benefits with us?
Oh, for sure. Um, Firstly, I would say that Fulbright does not leave you in the lurch. So there is an orientation that you will attend before going to the scholarship, both in Barbados and in the US. At this orientation, they really acclimatize you to life inside the US, the expectations of the scholarship, as well as the expectations of universities in the US. And after that, then Fulbright will support you throughout the journey at the university. Now, each month you are given a stipend that is based on the standard of living and also the current inflation, etc., in that particular area you are in. So that will vary from city to city, from state to state. And Fulbright generally will cover, at least for Barbados, generally what they're doing is advocating on your behalf to the university and asking the university itself to cover your costs. Okay, so sometimes Fulbright will put towards your university funding as well, depending on what percentage the university wants to cover. But generally, the arrangement is that they're going to advocate on your behalf, basically saying this is a Fulbright student who is excellent, and we would like you to cover the cost for their study. So that's how the arrangement works. So some people do definitely get 100% costs for the universities they apply to, while others may have to pay a small amount. And I was blessed to get 100% costs covered for the university.
That's perfect. In this time, where I feel like money is hard to come by, that's definitely great. That's ideal. As it relates to networking, do you find that it's beneficial in that regard as well? Is there a large pool of Fulbright scholars or alumni?
Definitely. That is one of the biggest benefits, I think, of Fulbright, the close-knit nature of the community, particularly at the university I am at as well. I feel like there is a network where I can tap into for information, advice. Even before I got here, I was given advice on what apartments would be good to live, where it would be good to live, shopping, if I need a bike, and also throughout my Fulbright experience, I have been thankful and blessed to have people who share resources. So if a Fulbrighter is leaving the particular town to perhaps go back home or work elsewhere, they will ensure that you have furniture for your new apartment. They will ensure that you are not just left there without any kind of information, whether it's banking information that they give you the tips on where you should bank and what bank works effectively and efficiently. But really, the networking power is extremely important and valuable, I would say, for Fulbrighters.
It definitely sounds like a very supportive system or
Yeah.
network, and I think that that's vital, especially as an international student. When you're coming from home, you're already, I don't know if you suffered with a bit of homesickness, but you're already a little bit homesick, or you're trying to get acquainted with, I guess, a new environment. So it does not help. I mean, it helps, sorry, to help. It helps have a supportive network. So I was wondering as well, because I heard you make reference to an interview stage. So I was wondering, because I know a lot of scholarships have that element of an interview. So I was wondering if there are any tips that you could share with the prospective applicants about that interview stage. How should they prepare, and how should they present themselves on the day?
Okay. I feel for interviewing, especially for scholarships, you are marketing yourself, but you're also demonstrating that you're willing to learn. And I think that that is perhaps the most important thing when you go into an interview. You have to be confident in yourself, be confident in your skills. I feel like I definitely was well prepared for the interview. I did some research about Fulbright and the ethos behind the scholarship. I looked at previous winners. I even talked to a friend who had been successful in obtaining the scholarship before, and they give me some tips as well. And there's the network again. So before the interview, definitely preparation matters. During the interview, just relax. I feel like the interviewers are just trying to find out who you are. And it's important to just market yourself and demonstrate a passion for the subject area that you're interested in. Make sure that you've researched that subject area really well as well, and just really listen to the questions and answer them as thoroughly and efficiently as possible, I would say.
Yes, definitely. I think that's very helpful. So which university do you study at currently?
Okay, I'm at Texas A&M University. I'm studying at the Bush School of Government and Public Service, and I am doing a degree in public policy.
Okay. And do you have an idea which element of public policy you probably want to work on if you decide to return home after studying?
Well, on that point, let me also let you know that Fulbright has an arrangement with the governments where the students come from, and you must return home after at least a year. And if you do stay here an additional year after your degree is finished, it is for an improvement in terms of gaining some kind of experience in the area that you want to work in. But you must return home for the period of time in which you have studied, for which you have studied. So that's an important thing to know also. It's really about building communities back home. And for me, I would like to go into development policy or education policy. I feel like there is that contributes the most.
Okay, we just had a glitch, some kind of technical difficulty, but I think I heard you perfectly that you
Okay.
are interested in development policy or educational policy. And
Yes.
I think definitely you will have a lot to offer because you yourself well, you've already been through the educational system as a teacher as well. So you'd also have some insight on how the system works. So it's not like you would be a quote unquote freshie, just come in, I guess, laced with naivety. You would have been
So
in the situation and you would know what can work practically.
the
So
in the
it wouldn't
situation.
be, yeah, it definitely wouldn't be a situation where to me some people accuse people of not being able to apply the theory practically. So I definitely have utmost faith in your service back home, and I'm glad that you're going home to help to build our community and the future, because I feel like the future relies on people
Uh,
like
uh,
you, on the youth. So the last thing I'd say, the
uh-huh.
last thing I'd ask, because prospective applicants always love to know this, just a synopsis. I know you'd be given tips right throughout this session, this Zoom edition. But what would you say are the 4 top tips that you can give to students for applying generally for this scholarship?
Okay, for the Fulbright Scholarship, I would say the first tip is to do your research, both when it comes to the area that you want to study and also when it comes to the scholarship itself. Now, it's good to do some research on the universities that you want to go to. Not only look at the university ranking, but also look at the department and what they offer. Look at the opportunities for working in that area, and generally look at the professors as well and see what experience they have in the area. That would be tip number one. Do your research. Secondly, I would say be eager about the scholarship, be eager about the opportunity. I genuinely feel that students should not have to pay so much for university. It should not be the case. So definitely be eager about this opportunity and make sure you're able to express that both on paper and in the interview stage. And the third thing I would say when applying for this scholarship would be to really have an understanding of not only your area, but how you can contribute to Barbados as well, because that's definitely something that comes up in the interview. And that is definitely something that is important if you're planning to go overseas and study and then come back. There must be either a scope for work or you must be willing to be an entrepreneur in that area. And finally, the fourth thing I would say is to be open, because what Fulbright will do is to really help you find a university that is the best fit for you in terms of what you have expressed it is that you want to study. So a lot of times people are caught up unnecessarily, I would say, with ranking. And while ranking is important, it is also important to find a university that has an excellent program in your area. So being open is very important when it comes to applying for this scholarship.
Well, I think that was precise and concise. those
That's
tips.
what I wanted.
And I just would like to say thank you for coming and sharing your knowledge. I think it was very insightful. I know it was very helpful for me as well. So I definitely know that my viewers would enjoy this video. And I
Mhm.
just want to say thank you for coming on the channel.
Okay, well, thank you so much for having me. And I also want to say to any of your viewers, if you do need any information on the Fulbright Scholarship, feel free to contact me. I am willing and eager to share. Again, Barbadians, you are intelligent, and I believe that scholarships should be yours. So do your research and you can come to me, and I would be willing to share any more information that you need.
Mr. St. Bernard, I know you said they can come to you. Do you have an email address or anything? How
Yes,
do they contact you?
my email address is simple. It's just my name, Matthew St. Bernard, no dots or spaces or underscores at gmail.com.
Okay, great. So that's St. Bernard is it doesn't have the dots. Just making
No,
sure.
I have a
Good.
dot.
No dots or spaces. Okay, guys, that's great. You've just built a contact or made a contact with Mr. St. Bernard, and I hope that you definitely use it, make good use of it. And that's it for now, guys. Until I see you on the next video. Talk to you later. See you.